so I can start like in 1 minute. Yeah, we are here. We are here. What's up, y'all? What is up, y'all? We are going to talk about um it's a lot going on right now. It's a lot going on right. Oh, shit, I ain't got my camera on. Here we go. It's a lot going on today. We are about to talk about the power of Black American culture. The power. But first, what we got to do is we have to identify what it is. You know, I was watching a couple of videos out there with people that were talking about what is Black American culture. We're going to talk about what that is. And we see the effect of Black American culture because today, the CEO of Essence Fest was, they say she chose not to come back to her duties because she had been on leave or whatever. I guess she chose not to come back. In other words, fired. Fired. Looks like she was fired. That's not what it said. Those are my words. I'm not. They're the official. The official thing is, you know, she was didn't return, but I'm calling it here fired because you don't not return when you do a good job, when what you do is successful. You don't just up and not return to a successful gig. You dig what I'm saying? You don't not return to a successful gig. When you quote unquote not return, when you quote unquote not return, it's because you fucked up. You know you fucked up, right? You know you fucked up. So that's what leads to you not returning to your job. And the CEO of Essence, she's just one of many. You know, just last month, Fat Joe isn't returning to host. Remember, early last year, they had already fired Fat Joe before they announcing last month there was not going to be any more BET Hip Hop Awards or Soul Train Awards for the time being. And they're trying to figure out why. It's because you're not reflecting Black culture. That's why. We all know. Joy Reid was fired. Wasn't nobody watching her bullshit ass show. Why? Because she doesn't say anything that reflects the needs of Black culture and Black America. This past election, the Democrats flopped. Think about this. The Democrats couldn't get nobody to beat sorry ass Donald Trump twice. Donald Trump ain't shit. Yet and still, they couldn't have a message that was spicy enough to get us to come out in larger numbers and vote. Weren't scared of Trump. The same usual suspects voted for Kamala, but as you see, they're not that effective. They needed the rest of us, and the Democrats not putting a message out there that reflected the needs of the rest of us. They flopped. You got white folks fighting. Y'all see what's going on with Gavin Newsom in Texas, and how all the Republicans are mad at Gavin Newsom. You got the Republicans infighting amongst themselves. You know, you got Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens and going at it. You got all the right wingers at it. Sean Hannity's going at it. And it's crazy. You got Drake acting like a little bitch with his lawsuits and his music flopping. All the tethers, you know what I mean? All the people that either tethered on our culture or had something negative to say about our culture. Drake told Kendrick, you rapping like you trying to free the slaves, only for us to find out in his paperwork that he's basically a slave to UMG and his 360 deal. So what he was trying to mock black culture over, rapping like you trying to free the slaves, we find out Drake is in fact a slave to UMG. Very high paid slave, but no matter how many L's he takes, they march his ass back on out there to release new bum ass music and have new bum ass shows. He can't take a break and hide in the shadows for a little bit because he's their bitch. So we're seeing a pattern. What today's show is about is pattern recognition, recognizing patterns. Because what happens too often is you get black folks come around, well, what we need to do, and what you don't see black folks doing is, what you don't see black folks doing is that. You don't see black folks doing this. You don't see black folks doing that. That's what you hear a lot. Well, a lot of that shit we're starting to do. And they're trying to distract us with Donald Trump marching the police into D.C. and Chicago. And for that, I don't give a fuck. The president got to do what the president got to do. Black folks are always the primary target. And we're generally the beta test for what's coming for everyone else. So rest and believe whatever debauchery Donald Trump has planned for us, like always, his shit's going to fall back on his own people. They gave us crack. That was a problem with us for about 8 or 9, 10 years. They've been on meth for the last 25. You dig? Whatever they set up for us comes back to them tenfold. And on top of that, I don't like you if you little niggas is out there carjacking and doing bullshit, you need to go to jail anyway. I don't have a no snitching policy. I have a policy of you do the crime, your dumb ass must do the time. So we're not getting distracted over Trump saying he gonna do that. Because the rest of us that have our heads on straight, that are focused, there's nothing Donald Trump marching the National Guard out can do to those of us who are being constructive. I remember I had a kid that I used to work with. Never listened. And the boy wanted to listen to me, but he had a mom that every time a man would come around and teach this little kid something, the mom would basically shelter him. This was one of my kids I worked with when I was working in mental health. And so what I would do back in the day, you can't hit a kid or do like that. No, don't want to hit a kid. But what I would do when this kid would act out is I would put him through my old football and basketball drills. The drills I used to coach basketball in, the drills I used to do, I'd make him do some of those drills. Physical activity. And really burn that little nigga's lungs and legs out. And it was working. But the mom would always come in, no, it's too harsh. Can't do that, can't do that, can't do that. Please, 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 that's my boy. And so I got removed from the case. Like, you know what? I can't deal with this shit. Then about a year later, that kid got carjacked somebody and got found guilty of carjacking. I'm not found guilty, but he did end up getting found guilty, but he got arrested for carjacking. And they called me and like, DeJuan, do you want to come down and be a witness? And I was like, hell no. They were like, why? Like we knew what was going to happen. We knew what was coming. We knew which direction this was headed. The mom would do everything she could to not let this boy face his challenges, face punishment for what he did wrong. So there's nothing I can do or want to do to help at this point. He carjacked another black person. The fuck do I look like making an excuse seeing one black boy carjack another black person? That wasn't cool. He did it. Mom never wanted him to face consequences the days me and his uncle worked with him. And I would always tell him, look, man, if you don't take the consequences from those of us who love you, you're going to have to face the consequences from those who don't. And this is a situation I talked to he and mom about plenty of times. So what else can I do? I'm not going to go to court and lie. I'm not going to perjure myself. So instead of going and making it worse for the young man, I just didn't go. He had to go to jail. You jacked another black person. What you want me to do? And that's black culture in its essence. My grandmother used to always say, she's always telling my cousin, if me and Nina Boy on YouTube, we got the same grandmother. We share the same grandmother. And our grandmother used to tell Nina Boy's big brother, he's the youngest, all of his brothers, look, if you love me, because they would always go to jail, write letters talking about how much they love grandmama. And my grandmama will tell them, look, if you love me that much, you won't commit that crime that's going to put you in jail. There are ways to hustle the right way. And if you choose to hustle the other way, don't write me and I'm not coming to jail to see you. And my grandmother went to her grave with that. She never wrote him back and she never went to jail to see him. The other people, the ones that were in jail. And that's our culture in its essence. But what's happened is our culture's been misidentified. It's been misconstrued purposely. It's been lied on and lied about purposefully. And the silent majority of us, we just ain't been saying much, but God damn it, them days are over. The silent majority is now speaking up, talking about who we really are, showing who we really are. And we're starting to see people in media and people around pay for not respecting who we are. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I got some videos I want to play to show what I'm responding to. Yeah, somebody said, hi, Rocky. Rocky over there passed. Rocky over there knocked out. Rocky, I would say Rocky's in high, but he's over there knocked the fuck out, sleep right now. Y'all might hear Rocky in the background snoring. It's a loud snore from a little ass dog. But welcome, chat room. Welcome. I appreciate all of y'all for joining. And what we're gonna do is talk about identifying black culture. We have somebody in here that's saying that we don't have a culture. Appreciate you for joining. So what I need you to do, chat room, don't kick them out. Let these people stay. And I'm going to show them the identifying markers of black culture. Because we most definitely have a culture. And it's in our face every day. And I've done a similar show before on identifying the markers of black culture. And I'm going to keep talking about these different things so we can keep this embedded in our mind. I'm going to keep talking about this so we can keep talking about this in our mind. All right. But also, this talks about. Let's see here. Let me see here. Which video I'm play this here. This is what started it. I got tagged in this video from this nose ring wearing nigga. I don't trust any man with a nose ring. I don't trust, and I don't want to listen. I don't listen to niggas with lisps. But listen to what this cracker-minded ass nigga had to say. And then we're going to talk about my reaction.
Example of when you start handing out participation. So that comment section is the prime example of when you start handing out participation trophies to people. Clearly you guys have failed in reading comprehension because you're not comprehending what I'm saying at all. And at this point, I don't even care to be politically correct. Like, I'm really gonna tell you how I feel about this whole situation. Some people really decided to say that Black America culture has just as much culture as any other part of the world. Does that even sound right to you? Let's be real. When people start talking about African and Caribbean culture, there's depth. Like, we talk about music, we talk about rituals, we talk about traditions, we talk about family dynamics. Now compare that to Black Americans. What is the consistent tradition? What is it? What is the unified identity? I'm listening. There isn't one. No tribe, no homeland, no shared customs. It's all scattered. And I know what everybody's gonna say. That's because of slavery. Well, guess what? It is what it is. Like, it's a fragmented group with no traditional foundation. No unanimous food, no universal values, and no sacred customs that were passed down from generations. I had one lady telling me in the comments that soul food isn't necessarily Southern food. What? People are talking about jumping the broom? When's the last time you've been at a wedding and saw someone jump the broom? Like, be real. Come on.
2 weeks ago.
I will say that some people in the comments were actually insightful. Like, you guys did give me some insight and did exactly respond in the way that I intended. And I want to say...
Okay, so I'm not going to let them blabber on. I'm going to go bit by bit over the first minute of this video. And I'm going to go bit by bit because I'm glad that I got tagged in this video because I'm not going to go back and forth. I'll just point out culture. Let's start back from the beginning.
So that comment section is the prime example of ending what I'm saying at all. And at this point, I don't even care to be politically correct. Like, I'm really gonna tell you how I feel about this whole situation. Some people really decided to say that Black America culture has just as much culture as any other part of the world. Does that even sound right to you? Let's be real. When people start talking about African and Caribbean culture, there's depth. Like, we talk about music, we talk about rituals, we talk about traditions, we talk about family dynamics.
Right there. He said music, he said depth. Music, ritual, family dynamics. And what else did he say?
We talk about rituals, we talk about traditions.
Traditions and family dynamics. Chat room, Miles, write that down. We're going to attack each one. Music, I'm writing this down. Music, rituals, family dynamics, and I'm missing one. I'm missing one. He said music, rituals. What did he say? Did he say traditions? Let me go back. That gap in his tooth is fucking me up.
Depth. Like, we talk about music, we talk about rituals, we talk about traditions.
Traditions. So let's go into it. Today, we're going to talk about the music, the rituals, and the family dynamics, and the traditions. Okay? Thank y'all, chat room. Music, rituals, family traditions. Well, let's break one down. Yesterday, I was at the Gardena Jazz Festival. This is a tradition that we have here in Southern California. Gardena is a suburb of Los Angeles, right there, nestled just under Inglewood, south of Inglewood, east of Hawthorne, and west of Compton. And right there in the nestled in South Central, just South Central adjacent. It's a festival that's been going on for 23 years. And I call it the Black Family Reunion End of Summer. That's what it is. So I went yesterday. We're going to talk about rituals. One ritual, one tradition of Black America is we have our own original music, because he said music. And y'all know me, this channel here is better than any other channel on the planet of breaking down Black American music. This is the small channel that the big channels borrow from. Let's just keep it there. This is a small channel that the more major platforms borrow from. I'm not going to go too deep into the music because I have countless hours on this channel and also on my Patreon breaking down the music. My Patreon is the University of Black American Music. And we all know we have the Black American Music family tree. So off top, this fake Isaac Hayes looking hoe ass nigga, whoever the fuck he was, don't understand that. Okay, music, we got that on lock. We got that on lock. And I have my historical foundation that those of you who want to donate and get tax deductible donations, I am now an official foundation with the Black American Music Family Tree Historical Foundation, preserving the history of Black American music. And as you see in the tree here, when it comes to reggae, y'all see reggae is just right there. When you see the branch that says R&B, you go up out of the rhythm and blues, and the blues you get gospel. The genre of gospel that comes out of the blues doesn't come out of it wasn't gospel then blues. It was blues then gospel. Then we got doo-wop, we got the Motown sound, and then out of the doo-wop and Motown sound, you get the ska rock steady sound, which then goes into reggae. Okay? Let's make that very clear. Dancehall, world beat, Euro beat, Brazilian house, house music, Euro house, techno, dance, swing, reggaeton, trance, dubstep. All of that is born out of Black American music. Afrobeat, you see right where it says funk, look just above where it says funk. It wasn't until we created the funk that Afrobeat came about. So whether you're dealing with Africa or the Caribbean or good old white American Leonard Skinner homegrown music, you're dealing with music created from the Black American. We even have our own rhythms that are unique. Appreciate the super chat. That tether one attention. Now, if they mention Black America, FBA, they get clicks. Yeah. Well, let's give them the attention that they want. Appreciate that, Ron's. Super chat. That video was Rage because he went on to say we did have culture. Hey, he reflected again. As we know on this channel, we don't isolate people. We use people as a train of thought, as a bigger picture. And he said something that we're going to address from a bigger picture because he just reflected. The reason why he used that as rage bait is because he understood that there are a lot of people that agree with the sentiment that Black Americans don't have culture. That is a very agreed upon sentiment, whether you're talking about white boys like Rory that be calling into the Star Show or these people like that. You know, we even have just not go let me see here. Where are the Temptations? We even have our own rhythms. Let me give you one. Here we go. Y'all know the song about the Temptations? This is what's called a shuffle on the 2/4 backbeat. This is a distinctly American rhythm. That song by Temptations. That's called a shuffle. That is distinct Black American rhythm where you shuffle the 16th notes. You hear that really a lot in the 60s and the 70s. That's a shuffle. That's a Black American rhythm. You know, we have our own rhythms. Rhythms like the sissy strut by the Meters. That's the sissy strut. We got rhythms like the Charleston. This is called the Charleston. It's a lot, very close to the shuffle. But the hesitation is behind the beat and the shuffle is ahead of the beat. Small difference, both American, all on the 2/4 beat. I'm giving you guys very elementary shit. Very, very, very. It goes way deeper. I don't have the time to go into it. Whatever instruments we didn't create, that they created, we used, and we flipped them and used them in our way. That's taking our instruments and redefine how they're played. Nobody. When you tell me who redefined the saxophone the way Charlie Parker and John Coltrane did, you holler at me. You tell me who defined how the drums are played, like Max Roach, Dennis Chambers, come find me. When you tell me how the trumpet is played and someone redefined how it's played, from Louis Armstrong to Miles Davis, you come find me. Until then, shut the fuck up. So that's the first part I want to get. Next, he said rituals and tradition, family dynamics. All right, let's go there. I was at a Gardena Jazz Festival yesterday. This I meant to talk about. And this is Black American culture. This is tradition where we come on down and we come together once a year in Gardena, 20,000 black folks here coming through. Let me turn it up. Shouts out to T Dynamite, Butter Love in the chat. What the hell? Shouts out to Butter Love in the chat. I saw her there yesterday. What in the hell?
This nigga wore a whole sweatsuit. This nigga said it's gonna be 200 degrees out there. Let me make it 210 in the sweatsuit. This is a sea of niggas right here, boy. You got aunties, grand aunties, nephews, nieces.
You hear Frankie Beverly being played?
Whole bunch of niggas named Willie Green.
This is black culture. This is what we was doing yesterday in Gardena at the Gardena Jazz Festival. Just niggas just a sea of niggas coming together, having a good old time. This is talking about what traditions. One of the Black American traditions is line dancing and having summer music that we all come together. Because later on in the video, that dude says, "Well, the United States is big. You got people over here, over there." Well, yeah. Some shit pop off in the South. You better goddamn believe it's gonna come to LA and New Jersey. So yeah, so we like this year, 2025, is the summer of the fan. And so nowadays, this is Black American traditions, and y'all love them goddamn fans. Look at all this.
couldn't wait to pull them goddamn fans out.
Y'all love them goddamn fans. Look at old brother right there. I gotta respond. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, Willie Green right here. Look at him. He like, what y'all know about that girl? What y'all know about that girl? That's Black American culture. Put on one song, 20,000 black folks know how to fall right in line and do what the fuck we do. That's us. Yeah, the South, thank y'all for starting that. But that's Black American culture. The thing is, we talk shit amongst ourselves, but people think we hate each other. No, we don't. Now the New Yorkers take it a little bit too far, but they hate on each other all the goddamn time. They hate on the goddamn borough that's two blocks away. No, nigga, I'm from Queens. Fuck the Bronx. But even that ain't hate. That's just shit talk for the American blacks. For the American blacks out there, it's just shit talk. It ain't real hate. Except for when they hating on West Coast and Southern rap. That's a little bit different. But outside of that, man, we just be talking shit. The South come up with something. LA come up with something. The South right along. When the Memphis came out with the juice, we were doing it out here too. And that's part of our culture. Coming together. Who is this? Somebody named Kemet TV says FBA is a small cult and a blip in black culture. Well, if FBA was such a small cult and a blip in black culture, you wouldn't be in here talking. You'd be on your own Kemet TV channel talking about Akhenaten and the motherfucking Netaroos and shit. But you're not on your channel talking about Akhenaten and goddamn Queen T, Queen Kai. And you ain't talking no Metal Netter. You over here trying to get attention from us. So basically you being in here making this comment, you wanted my attention and you got it. If what you was talking about was so on point, you have somebody talking, listening to you right now. But you don't. You gotta come over here and get some attention. Y'all see how it works? Y'all see how it works? Might get choppy. What about now? What about now? Can y'all? Is the mic good now? Is it back to static or is it good now? Check now. I don't know what the hell going on with the static because my levels are good here. Is it clear? Static gone? All right, cool. Was it static for a long time? Okay, well, since it was static, let me go back and clown this Kemet coon that was in here earlier. I don't want static coming in between me clowning and the Kemet coon that was in here early. Back to you, Kemet coons. If all that Kemet shit you was talking, if it was what it is, you wouldn't need to be in this chat room saying whatever it is you have to say. You ain't talking about shit. Okay? People over here, because we do have a culture. And we are here identifying our culture. Oh, just static on the Kemet roast? Okay. Yeah, that's what they do. They come over here and say we don't have a culture. If we didn't have culture, they wouldn't be over here. But y'all see how it goes? Los Angeles! Everybody get up! And y'all notice how they always say we can't come together in peace? What? What? See, whenever we have our jazz festival, our rhythm and blues, that kind of stuff, whenever we have that, we are very peaceful. It's that popular shit, that new rap that the radio put out, that violence and shit come out of. Violence is country music, house music. You saw that white woman get her ass beat by that white man at that house music festival last week at the Rose Bowl? That's where the violence is. How would I know an FBA when I see one? I know I'm not looking at one when I see your picture. How about that? The fact that you said I gotta see one shows me that you don't understand what it is. I don't have to recognize the FBA by how he looked. I recognize the FBA by how they act and the energy. When I was there yesterday and heard that magic being known, I knew that I was dealing with my culture. I knew the ones who weren't FBA because they was off beat. The ones who weren't FBA was, where them fans at? Now? All off beat and shit. See, look at this. Here he comes with a generic fat joke. He said the host is out of breath. Chat room, am I out of breath? I'm breathing fine. You just thought that was going to be a funny jack. You thought you was going to eat off that fat joke and not have to deal with the fact that nobody gives a fuck about your Kemet TV, nigga. Don't try to put it back on me. Let's put it back on why nobody's paying attention to your Kemet TV unless you in my FBA chat room. Bitch. Let's deal with that. You can't get no attention. Ain't nobody trying to hear you talk about the 48 laws in my eye. 42 laws. Ain't nobody trying to listen to you talk about none of that shit. Ain't nobody trying to hear you talk about goddamn Nefertiti. Ain't nobody trying to hear you talk about the Gabalion. Ain't nobody trying to hear you talk about what's going on in Memphis, Luxor, in Egypt. You over here. What's up, Butter Love? Yeah, I saw Butter Love yesterday at the Gardena Jazz Fest. Hey, and I found out your sister's homegirl was my sister's homegirl on Facebook today. Man, I've been knowing Shaniqua for over 30 years, Butter Love. Y'all, oh yeah, y'all went to that school in the Valley. That's what it is. Y'all went to that damn Sherman Oaks Valley School. That's what it is. Nah, Shaniqua, she like a big sister to me. Come to find out, one of my main primary mind, the one who's been here the longest, Butter Love, me and her sister been on the same person for like 35 years. Didn't even know it till yesterday. That's FBA for those of you who are asking. Oh, that's what it is. Sherman Oaks? Yeah. Yeah, we went to church together, me and Shaniqua. We went to church together. Going back to the late 80s. So, yeah. These are the markers of Black American culture, rituals, traditions. And the other thing the person brought up was family dynamics. We as Black Americans have very, very, very strong family dynamics. We have things called family reunions. Okay? That's culture to us. Culture is going to the family reunion.
Family reunion, got to have a family reunion.
That's Black American culture right there. So much so that we made one of the greatest songs ever written out of our culture, family reunions. If you're around a Black person and they never heard of a family reunion, then you're not dealing with a Black American. You're dealing with a Black from somewhere across the diaspora. Go. This is what you do. Go to somebody and be like, "Hey, when y'all having a family reunion?" If they say what, I do. We've never had the family reunion. That's another way you tell a Black American. Do they roll their R's? We've never had the family reunion. Black Americans, we don't. FBA, we don't roll our R's. FBA has a family reunion. Even the most ghetto ratchet of FBA, they may not be invited to the family reunion, but they know of the family reunion. Whether or not they get an invite, that depends on who's throwing the family reunion. Or if they say, well, I had a family reunion on my mom's side, well, then you know their mom's side is FBA. If they say my dad's side don't have family reunion, it's because daddy is from Antigua or from Benin or some shit like that. That's FBA. That's Black American. Identifying what is FBA culture, the power of FBA culture. Our culture is so powerful that now the CEO of Essence Festival has gotten fired. Here we go. And let me tell you something. I don't give a fuck what you claim, okay? No one, look, a double-edged logic. This, I want to make it very clear to you, brother. This show ain't about you. All right? Black Americans don't give a fuck what you claim. You don't have to claim FBA. That's the beautiful part about it. Don't claim it. Too bad, so sad. You don't have to. But you still Black American if you're Black American. It's very simple. Can you trace your lineage back on both sides of your family to the 1870 census? You are that. And if you can't, you're not, or you're half. One half is, one half isn't. That simple. Claim it or not. Nobody gives a fuck. Ain't nobody about to come knock on you. These niggas be thinking somebody about to knock on their door with an outreach and engagement packet. Well, I don't know if I want to sign up for this FBA thing or not. You know, both my parents come from America, but I don't claim it, and I don't even know what it. I don't want to claim. Don't give a fuck. Okay, we're not Jehovah's Witnesses. This isn't Scientology. All right. There are no pamphlets asking you to sign up. No one's asking you to become a Mason or none of that shit. If you choose not to identify as that, fine. You don't have to. You don't have to claim nothing. Matter of fact, you can claim all the African you want. It don't change who the fuck you are. These niggas be coming in thinking that they special, so you guys need to convince me. Nigga, fuck you. Okay, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, so, okay, you don't want to claim it. But you're in this chat. That means there's obviously something in you that's attracted to it or not attracted to it. That, my friend, is up to you to figure out. Because that takes me to my next part. I saw a video someone tagged me in with the great Sotnetter. Salute to Sotnetter TV. Sotnetter TV is what got me into a lot of the internet back like 15 years ago, like the internet shit talking, because he was always having them debates in New York in front of the Apollo. And when he had them white boys go down and kiss his feet, we played a video from that at the Apollo. That shit had me dying laughing. But he says stupidity draws attention. Well, it draws attention from stupid motherfuckers. If stupidity is what got you here, that means you a stupid motherfucker. Stupidity draws attention from stupid people. And if you think this is a stupid topic and you're here and you're staying, that means you're stupid. Stupidity does draw people. There's been times I clicked on videos from people like Poetic Flacco, man, what's this stupid shit? And then I hear him saying some dumb shit, and you know what I do? Next video, because I'm not stupid. Sometimes you will click on something and be like, what's this shit? And it'll draw you in. And then the minute I see Poetic Flacco with his lips and rolling his eyes and you don't know what happened with Little John. Okay, this nigga's stupid. Let me click next. I'm gonna turn to a different, I can only take about 30, 45 seconds of Poetic Flacco with his eyes crossing. Whack 100 said, oh my God, this nigga's stupid. Let me hit next. So if you go in somewhere that's stupid and you stay, and you think that the whole time you're listening to something stupid, then you's a stupid motherfucker. Everyone else in here feels this is uplifting, intelligent information that they can use to better their lives, and that's why they're staying. You see that stupid motherfucker ain't said nothing since. He's still here. Well, let me just stop typing so I don't seem so stupid. But I am stupid, so let me stay in here quietly. They won't know I'm still here. Stupid motherfucker. All right, back to what we're talking about. I brought up Sotnetter. Like I said, Sotnetter is a channel that pushes a lot of pro-Pan-Africanism talk. And this video came up, somebody tagged me in, with Sotnetter apologizing to indigenous Black Americans. Because he's being one of the main people saying that there are no Black Indians, there are no Black what's this, we African this, we African that. Sotnetter's been a long-term, long-standing Pan-Africanist. Long-term. So on this channel, he actually apologized
when you get off the podium.
to Black people that complained that claimed their Indian heritage. Because what Sotnetter did was he went to a funeral and he found out with all that Pan-Africanist talk he's been doing that his family is Chinook Indian. That's why I always tell people, what's up, Black Vulture, out in the chat? I'll tell like it is. That's right on. Tell them. Yeah, you gotta tell these people, fuck you. These people come around, well, you didn't convince me. Well, so what? How the fuck can I convince somebody that 2A minus 7 equals B when they don't know how to add 6 plus 6? That's like somebody, I still don't know 6 plus 6. So that trigonometry test don't mean nothing because you can't convince me that answer's right. Well, nigga, What is 32 divided by 16? I don't know what 32 divided by 16 is. You still can't convince me, though. That's what you dumb motherfuckers do. And this isn't a channel for stupid people. I make that very clear. I don't like stupid people. I don't cater to stupid people. And when I created this channel saying, okay, what would I want to listen to? When I listen to YouTube, what attracts me? Because so much, and the thing that got me to YouTube and off of TV was TV never said anything that reflect me and never told the truth. TV wasn't 100. Radio isn't 100. Top pop music isn't 100. They don't keep it real. They don't talk the real shit. So I said, it gotta be a place for people that want to think a little bit deeper. And that's how I found YouTube. And that's how I found Sonetta. Sonetta was teaching me shit that I didn't know. And his guest was teaching me shit I didn't know at that time. So now, out of all that Pan-Africanism talk he's been talking, he's saying that he's Indian. That show's for intellectuals. This isn't for everybody. If you don't want to think, fine. I don't cater to you. Real talk, Felix Speaks. I don't cater to people. Either you gonna ride with us or you not. No, and no hate if you're not. So Sonetta is talking about how let's play this and let's listen to somebody who has been a Pan-Africanist this whole time talk about finding their American Indian roots.
My mother's brother, remember I always used to tell everybody that I have a cousin who's a pastor and I have an uncle who's a minister, who's a pastor, who's all of that, you know. And as he was on the pulpit teaching, putting his sister, my mother, to rest, he started talking about the history. And I was blown away, man. He was talking about the history. And me and 10 Toes Down looked at each other and we couldn't believe it. We just looked at each other like, did he just say that? And 10 Toes Down was like, yes, he said that. And I was like, wow. So I said, I gotta interview Uncle Richard when he get off the podium, when we get outside. I gotta do a quick short clip. I need to know more about this. So he started talking about my grandfather, his father, and my mother's father, their father. And he started talking about how they're from the Shinnecock tribe. And I was like, what? I was blown away. I couldn't believe I was listening to that. As we were talking outside, I said, Uncle Richard, can you say that again, what you said in there? And how come y'all never taught us this history? Come to find out his whole side of the fence. See, you know, what it is, I'm gonna tell you like this, and I know it's not just me, but what it is that we all don't come together. Family don't really come together a lot. Some do. Only when things happen, only when bad things may happen, that's when we all come out together. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I got up to the pulpit and I talked about that. When he said, do anybody have anything to say? I got up and I spoke about that. And I talked about, I said, look at y'all, look at the family, man. Our grandchildren don't even know your side of the family. They don't even know they cousins. I said, this is sad that the only time we come together is when something like this happens. You know, this is what brings us together. I said, we need to have some family reunions. We need to get our grandkids that know your grandkids and our cousins that know their cousins. They don't know each other. The only ones that know is just the older generation like me and my first cousins. But the second cousins in them scattered about. They don't know each other. That's the only time we come together. And so he's living in South Carolina for years. I haven't seen my uncle in like, I would say 15 or something years, or even more. Even more. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody have their own lives and they do what they do. But when he came down, this is one of my mother's favorite brothers. And he started talking about the history. And it blew my mind. I was sitting there like, did he just say that? I said, man, I got to go live and apologize to my Native American brothers and sisters. Because I'm going to call him now. I'm going to call my uncle and I'm going to do a nice long interview. And here we go.
He said he's going to call us out to do an interview. He's talking about how his family is Shinnecock Indian. And Black Voltron just said it. You know, you say it's kind of sad if you think about it because that means he's not close with his family. And that's how it is with too many of black folks. A lot of black people, we are a people that's been so traumatized. It's like we always moving forward. And we don't take time to sit back and listen to the OGs until it's too late. And Sonetta got to be in his 50s or 60s. That's why I say it's very, very, very important that you study your own. And I thank God for me because I didn't study. Look, let me tell you, Hey, chat room, can we just have a little talk right now? This isn't what I'm about to say, and I don't care about the algorithm. I don't care about clicks. This is just I'm about to have a heart to heart with the people in the chat, if y'all don't mind. I've talked about this before. Mods like Quan that's been around Star, y'all been around Bismarck too, y'all have heard this before. But I want to have this talk again. It's very important that we connect with our own family roots. It's not good enough to know Black history, FBA history, FBA culture without understanding the history and the culture of your own family. Very important. Because through the understanding of your family, you'll get a greater contextualized understanding of American history. I wasn't one, if you talked to me 10 years ago, I didn't know hardly shit about my family. The only reason why I do know, I honestly I have to credit my wife for knowing my family history because she always knew hers. And she would talk about her family history all the time around me. Her family, like her mom knew that her mom's dad was Poe Arch down in Alabama. Like my wife's, her family, when the Trail of Tears came, her family chose not to get marched away as Poe Arch Indians. They chose to stay and be reclassified as Black, as Negro. Okay? That was a choice. And through understanding my wife's family history before I understood mine, I understood, okay, there's something deeper going here. These are people who were Poe Arch who chose to stay and were reclassified as Negroes in order to stay on their ancestral land in Alabama. Then I found out even more. She was like, yeah, her granddad used to still go down to the Poe Arch tribal meetings as recently as 1970s and 1980s. And her grandfather still knew the Poe Arch language. The language didn't get passed down because the kids didn't have interest in learning the language. But I found out that he still knew their native tongue as recently as the 1980s. And I heard they still have those Poe Arch meetings going on down there in Alabama. So understanding that, and my wife, I would hear these stories at my wife's family table, and I'd be like, man, that's dope. And then my mom would be like, nah, so why don't you talk all this Black history? How can you talk Black history if you don't know your own history? And I was like, you know what? You're right. You're right. And so that's what got me into studying my family history. That's what got me into my family history. You have to, like they say before, for all, and this goes to all you Pan-African niggas. What does your doctrine say? Know thyself, right? You better than that, you motherfuckers. We all African ass niggas. What do they say on the? What did Dr. John Henry Clark and Dr. Ben tell us? What they say on in the temples in Egypt? What do they say on those temples? Know thyself. So yeah, that's my Africanness in me, nigga. I follow the proverb: know thyself. And through knowing thyself, the group dynamics around us make more sense. So I was against my family history. knowing it, because there was so much tragedy in my family, so many early deaths. You know what I mean? I didn't want to know. But I took time to find out. And through taking time to find out, I came across some wonderfully dope things. You know what I mean? I came across some wonderfully dope things. You dig what I'm saying? That's how it happened. And through knowing your family history, now Black American quote unquote FBA history takes on a new meaning, a new context. Our great brother Sarnetta hadn't taken the time to know thyself. And in Sarnetta not knowing himself, he spoke against himself. That's why it's important to know yourself. Because if you know yourself, you're not going to speak against yourself. That's when I found out that my family, my grandmother, my family was in Tulsa when the massacre happened. That family goes back to Cherokee out of East Texas and Alabama. Found out on the other, that's on my dad's side. Found out on my mother's side, I got Potawatomi from Michigan, Powhatan from Virginia, all these different admixtures of natives all throughout my family back when I was calling myself African. Question. African knowledge, Pan-Africanism teaches you, and African train of thought. What's one of the main tenets of so-called African spirituality? Is what? Ancestor worship, right? Chat room, am I off? Am I off, chat room? Having connection to your ancestors. Is that not part of African spirituality? I'm asking, chat room, is it? You said I'm right? You're okay? Yeah, I thought so. That's part of it. So, who are your ancestors? Your ancestors are those who are in your bloodline lineage who since passed on. So, your parents, if they've passed along, are your ancestors. Your grandparents, if they've passed along, are your ancestors. Your great aunties, your great great grandparents, your great 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 grandparents. These are your ancestors. So if I'm going to follow African proverb 1, know thyself, African proverb 2, develop a relationship with my ancestors, then I take time to find out who my ancestors are. And as far back as it goes, they're American. What does that mean? It means I'm American, right? It means the ancestors that I need to develop a relationship with, these are people who were born, raised, lived, and died right here in the United States. I have family that fought in the Revolutionary War to create the United States. The United States didn't exist when my family was here. So, because of that, I have family that fought in the Revolutionary War to make the United States exist as a place. Fought in the War of 1812 to preserve the United States as a place. Fought in the Civil War to make sure that the Union stayed together. Only for somebody to tell me, no, Dewan, ignore all that. You're African. You're African. Now look at this part of my tree right here. Abraham Scott, out of Bertie, North Carolina, Indian, born in 1735. That's just one. That's just one. In 1735, official records had him classified as a Native American. But I got some nigga that don't know me in a red, black, and green flag calling me African. Appreciate the cash app, yo. James, I appreciate the cash app. Malik, I appreciate the cash app, Malik. Gabriel, Malik dropped a 50 on that motherfucker. Gabriel, I appreciate the cash app. Alexandria Wilson, I appreciate the cash app. Sonia Tatum, much appreciation on the cash app. Aaron dropped a 100 ball last week. Appreciate the cash app, Aaron. I didn't get to acknowledge you while you were live, so hopefully you in here now. I can make that acknowledgement now. Much appreciation on the cash app. You dig? Make sure you spend time with your family. I'm gonna go kick it with my uncle later on this week, just to talk. I'm like lately I've been kicking it with my dad, asking my dad about the 50s. He was born in the early 50s, but he lived enough of the 50s to still have very strong memories of the 50s. So I was sitting back talking to my dad about what was LA in the 50s like? What was LA in the 60s like? You used to go to, you and my grandmama used to drive to Texas, family reunions, going back to the 60s. What was it like driving from LA to Texas in 1965? I asked my dad these questions. You know? I was talking to my wife's dad the other day about the 50s in Alabama and moving from Alabama to LA in the early 60s. But talking about Gaston, Alabama in the 1940s and 50s. We talk about this kind of stuff. And I found out, like my father-in-law, he had his great granddad. I'm sorry, his part of the reason. Do y'all know the reason? Family is the reason why a lot of things happen. Y'all know the reason why I read cards? Y'all want to know what really, really got me motivated to read playing cards? I was kicking them with my wife's dad, and he was talking about how his granddad used to read people in Alabama. Uh, he one of the things that he did in Alabama was he read people's fortunes through cards. And I was like, hold on, what? He was like, yeah, his granddad was known in the late 1800s, early 1900s to read cards. He could read coffee grinds, and he could read cards. And I was like, hold on. I didn't even know you could read cards. I was like, read cards? What are you talking about? He was like, yeah, you can read these playing cards. And his grandfather was really popular at reading them cards in the rural South, out down there in Alabama. And that's what piqued my interest to learn how to read cards. I was like, yo, that's some real shit. Like 10 years ago. And then after that, I went and found somebody to study under, Aquarius Maximus. Thank you. And I bought other books like from Robert Camp and different people. And I learned how to read cards. But I didn't even know you could read these things. But he was like, yeah, back in Alabama, they used to read these cards like you had fire talkers, you had medicine men and medicine women, you had people who can read coffee grinds, you had musicians, people who can heal through instruments. We had a whole backwoods culture that doesn't get talked about unless you know your family. Somebody said, I don't know. Nobody needs cards, brother. I don't need cards either. Never have needed cards. This isn't about need. We don't need to jump there. It's about understanding that our history, our culture, has tools that it uses, and it's been using to tap into your spirituality, whether that be through cards, whether that be through music, through coffee grinds. Some people know how to read fire. There are people out there who are fire talkers. They can look at a flame and read that flame, and that flame tells them everything they need to know. Do they need the flame? No. But it is a skill that helps hone and sharpen what's already there. Because whether you do numerology, astrology, cards, all of it is a reinforcement of what's already in your spirit. You're not special. 100% of us, 100% of us know our spirit. But also, 100% of us sometimes have questions and need confirmation on what the spirit's trying to tell us. So for those who need confirmation off of the spirit that we all have is telling us, then they go to a fire talker, a cardologer, somebody who reads coffee grinds, an empath, a this or that. These are all tools. I know how to drive from Los Angeles to Dallas, Texas. But you know what? I'm still going to pull the map up in my navigation for confirmation sometimes. Didn't pull the map up I don't have navigation in my car because I need it. I have it to assist and to show me where the traffic is on the route that I already know that exists. Yeti. Yes, you can read flowers. Felix speaks, yeah. You could definitely read flowers. I don't know how to read flowers, but you can read flowers. You can read dice. On top of cards, I also read dice. All these shit, cards, dice, all this shit is an explanation of the spiritual. But they hide from us this stuff. But I do read dice. Ask a question, shake them dice, throw it, you'll get the answer. Yes, and you can also read coons, most definitely. I agree. Anytime when you see a nigga walk in with no facial hair and he talks like this, that's a motherfucking coon before he open. Yeah, our creator gives the answers all around us, Rafi. Real talk. Salute Kobe Ray tuning in over on X. Hell, do y'all know Baby Dodds, the drummer that laid the foundation on how to play the drum set? He played the drums with King Oliver's jazz band. Baby Dodds, one of the first drummers to really codify the drum set. His grandfather was a Native American wood talker, meaning he can beat a piece of wood and the resonance would tell him whatever was going on in the environment through beating on the wood. Baby Dodds. He's the person that came up with the tom toms. He popularized tom toms on the drum set and a hi hat. Here you go. When you look him up, they'll say, "Oh, he had African rhythms." They always want to put African rhythm, African in rhythm. But his grandfather was an Indian drummer who understood Indian drum methods to pass along messages. That's why I bring up cards and bring up these things. Look, like I told you before, I'm not here to convert nobody to nothing. It's always some dickhead that comes around. Man, I don't want to know about no cards, man. The cards are this, man. The cards are that. Oh, then get the fuck out of here. I ain't convincing you square niggas is shit. But for those of you who are willing to listen and willing to learn and willing to see what's out, I offer myself because I don't learn things to hide on things. I learn things to teach. This is Baby Dodds' drum set. Baby Dodds was the first to use the tom toms. Those tom toms are not African drums. Those are Indian drums. Well, his grandfather was an Indian drum talker. So it makes sense that he's the one that put the tom toms with the drum set because his grandfather was a goddamn Indian drummer. Yeah, Chuck Berry was a black Indian. So was Jimi Hendrix. Yes, reading dice is most definitely a real thing. All those games, dice, cards, all of that shit is our old methods of communication to spirit. Appreciate that, Jay. Likewise. Yeah, Shaka Khan is Blackfoot Indian. Yep. Johnny Mathis. Yep. These are all Indians, American black natives. And now you're starting to see. You said Ouija board? Hell no. Ouija board is real. I don't fuck with the Ouija board. That's some real shit. The Ouija board is most definitely some real shit. I will never bring an Ouija board into my house. But if you the type that's down with the Ouija board, go right ahead. I don't believe in telling people what they should and shouldn't do. You got to do what your spirit calls you to do. Like, I tried to get into astrology heavy. Me and astrology don't really work like that. Me and numerology, we work pretty good. Me and tarot cards don't work at all. Tarot cards, I'm not interested. Not my thing. Nor do I have any interest in tarot cards. But I know some bomb ass tarot card readers that'll read your motherfucking life with them tarots. I have zero interest in tarot cards. But it was something about numerology, that made me stay around. But when I found out about these cards, when I found out about reading these cards, that shit excited me. And the astrology attached to card reading excited me. Because in card reading, we use planetary astrology. And planetary astrology, to me, makes a hell of a lot more sense than a lot of the cross and the cardinal position versus the fixed. I get it, but it don't excite me. This is what excites me. So this is what works for me. But there's never been nothing that I've ever read in these cards that my spirit didn't tell me first. That's why y'all say, if anyone's ever done a reading for me, I got card reading books all around me. Do I ever pop up in books during my readings? I got all the books in the world on cards. I don't be popping over books when I read. Cause my spirit gonna tell me that shit before the book did. Yeah, Star, yeah, you been in my readings. I don't pull the books out. And no disrespect to those who do, because the books are accurate. But my spirit tell me before the book tell me. So that's what we're here for. We see that that Ouija board is nothing to play with. If my recommendation is, look, I personally ain't fucking with no Ouija board. Because there's spirit both the spirit world is just like the human world. You got good and you got bad. You got evil, you got constructive, you got destructive. All that shit's true. And from what I've heard about a lot of the Ouija boards, they pull out a lot of your more destructive, lower vibrational spiritual realms. Like I have a friend of mine who's in a messed up situation from my perspective because they have a spiritual connection to somebody. And remember this, people, just because you have a spiritual connection with somebody don't mean that connection is good. It's some spiritual connections that are more evil than a goddamn person you ain't got no spiritual connection with. You got evil spirits, and they got like a person I know is in a really messed up situation right now because a spiritual attraction that they mistook for a good, positive spiritual is turning out to be something that they way more than they ever asked for. Rocky done woke up. Come here, Rocky. You wanna go? You wanna go? Rocky done woke up. You wanna go, Rocky? It's hot in the motherfucker in here. I call them Ouija. I know they Ouija boards. I call them Ouija boards because they ooh-wee. I know it's Ouija. I call them Ouija boards on purpose. Because Ouija, nigga, you about to be Ouija, you about to be fucked up. I call them Ouija boards. Because of ooh-wee. Fuck that. Yeah, I know they Ouija boards. No, to me, they Ouija boards. Ouija boards ain't. I don't fuck with it. Ouija. I did not want to see. But I'm about to get up out of here, yo. We have a culture that's clearly definable, and it is the culture of America. And now I hope that I was able to give you guys a service to point out how to identify that culture and the greatness of that culture. And as we see, as we're starting to learn our culture more and more and more, even those of us who don't consciously know our culture, it's something that we feel. And when people like her, the CEO of Essence Fest, come around and they start changing things up, throwing Jollof competitions in our culture, we push back because we're very sensitive about our culture. Even a lot of us, those of us who don't even know we have a culture, we're very sensitive about it. Fat Joe being at a hip hop award, we push back. Nobody watched. We inherently know when somebody's stepping in the place of our culture because it just ain't there. Something missing, you know. Joy Reid, fired because you don't speak for the culture. All right. We might do another late. No, I'm not gonna do a late night live tonight. I got somewhere to be tonight, but I'm gonna holler at y'all tomorrow. We're gonna have some more talk. Get your readings. Go to DewanB.com, all that good shit. Go to Bliss Capsules. Type in the product code D Brown. Buy one get one free at BlissCapsules.com. All right. Y'all have a good one. We out.